With week number 1 of the NFL now in the books, we can officially say the 2022 football season is underway. We previously only offered 30-day NFL packages and 30-day college football packages, but because you asked, we have now added a 30-day NFL and college football combo. If you regularly buy the same handicapper week by week, not only will you save money, but more importantly, you will receive the selections immediately once they are released, allowing you to lock in the best available line and beat the line moves. While a 30-day NFL or college football package sells for $149 each, we want to make a splash for the first week of this combo package. Through Sunday, September 18th, get the NFL and college football combo for only $199. Yes, that's 30 days of NFL and 30 days of college football for under $100 per sport. This special is available at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo, allowing you to bet football right alongside your favorite handicapper for the next 30 days for only $6.63 per day. With week number 1 of the NFL now in the books, we can officially say the 2022 football.
Hey guys, welcome in, and goodness, it's Friday yet. I think it is. I think we have made it to September the 16th. Crazy week 3 of the college football season. Well, it's upon us. A couple of games tonight, an interesting slate of games here. Right before, of course, a lot of the conference games begin next week. So some intriguing non-conference matchups. We're going to break down a couple for you here, and we're going to do it on the college football kickoff show with 1, 2, 3. That's correct. We've got 3 of the absolute finest. Just want to make sure I wasn't doing Tony Finn math, because Tony Finn is in the house. Lent me his abacus. Always a pleasure to see you, Mr. Finn. Bryan Leonard also in the house, and another guy that stole Bryan Leonard's first name, spells it the same too, Mr. Bryan Power, hanging with us here. Gentlemen, welcome in here on a week 3 kickoff. Should be a lot of fun. I like the games tonight as well. I do think we have some great games this weekend, Tony Finn. So what do you have locked and loaded ready for us already this week here, Tony?
What do I have? I have my college cards locked, loaded, ready to make fun of. My NFL card locked, loaded, and coming off and depending on what side you're on, right? A fortunate, fortuitous, or unfortunate push last night. Oof. If you got the right number and played it early enough with the Chiefs and the Chargers. I like, as you, Joe, there's a bunch of good games, and we're talking about 3 of them, and we can talk about our best bets coming up. But everything on my end, locked, loaded. If you need something for free, call Joe.
All right, good stuff. No problem. I can do that. Bryan Leonard, always a pleasure, my friend. Happy Friday. And he is right. What in the hell is that, Tony Finn? Are you in an elevator? What's going on here, Finn? What is going on?
That is not me.
Oh, all right. Not a problem. It could be Bryan Leonard then. Are you in a elevator, Bryan Leonard? What's going on, my friend?
Yeah, I was running the room earlier, and now it's telling me that it needs to be charged, and I don't have time to get up and move it. So what are you going to do? That's what happens when you got a wife that works a real job and I'm sitting at home.
Yep.
By the way, this background you chose for me today reminds me of my childhood. We had the same pattern in our couch and our drapes. They were red, and as soon as I saw this thing, I go, "Oh my God, this brings me back to my teenage years."
Yep.
How hard is it to believe that?
Honestly, I wanted to let him know. Ralph Michaels said exactly the same damn thing a couple of days ago. Ralph's like, "Oh my God, did you take a picture of my house growing up?" Oh my goodness. It looks great on you. The green is fantastic on
Thank you.
Bryan. It's really, really good. You're ready? You locked and loaded tonight? Are you in any action or everything for the weekend?
Yeah, I had the first half under yesterday. That worked out really nice for us. I've got a baseball play up right now. Right now I've got 3 college football plays up. I am hopefully going to get involved with a couple FCS games. Those lines aren't out yet. They'll be out on Saturday. And then I've got 5 NFL plays for this weekend. And as soon as you move away from me, I'm going to shut that damn thing up. So I'll be back in a second.
All right, get off his ass, will you, Robert? Now I can't stand listening to the Roomba anymore. All right, guys, welcome in Bryan Power. I still can't believe, Bryan, that you managed to come back here. I don't know why, but you do. It's always a pleasure, my friend. Happy Friday to you. I know you're locked and loaded heading into the weekend at WagerTalk.com. What do you got for us, man?
Yeah, what a fine crew this is, by the way, to start my weekend every week. I wouldn't be anywhere else, but right here, man, on the Happy Hour Kickoff show. So this is what we've got cooking. We got both totals for the Friday college football slate tonight, so we've got both games. Got the big 5%er, though, tomorrow. Really looking forward to that. We've got a few others in college football, 4 total on the day, but the 5%er, obviously the headliner. We won the 5% play in NFL on Sunday with the Giants winning outright. Had to sweat that one down to the end, but it was worth it. This one, I do not think you will have to sweat out at all. After we're done here, probably throw up a little soccer, a little UFC. Let's just play all the sports this weekend. Joe, I can assure you I have never knocked anyone out in my life personally, but I am 10-0 my last 10 UFC picks, and by God, that must count for something.
Wow. Just make sure all the matches are still the same, because they have this habit of mixing and matching last minute there at UFC. You never know who's fighting who. Well, gentlemen, welcome in, and I can't think of a better place to get started than what do you think here, guys, as we look at the U. It is the University of Miami, not too far down the road here, as they'll be traveling, however, to College Station, taking on A&M. Jimbo Fisher, oh boy, -6, 5.5 and 6s in the marketplace. That total 44.5. This is going to be the 9 p.m. Eastern time kick there, guys, tomorrow. So this will be a great way to end some college football before we get to the degenerate specials. But what do you think here? Bryan Leonard, I will come to you. Tell me what you think we are going to get here from the U and Jimbo Fisher. Oh, got to turn you up, though. The Roomba turned you down. Okay, you're good. There you go. Back at it.
I was able to find a rogue number on here, so I bet the over. Hurricanes are going to be missing a key wide receiver here, but they do have one of the most talented quarterbacks in college football. So I think they're going to be able to move the football a little bit here on Texas A&M. A major step up for the Hurricanes after playing Bethune-Cookman and Southern Miss. So this will be the first defense that they've played, but I really like the quarterback here at Miami. And from a scheduling standpoint, they've got Middle Tennessee on deck. And so they started the season with Bethune-Cookman, Southern Miss, Middle Tennessee State on deck. You know this was the game that they've been preparing for all spring, and that's the Texas A&M Aggies. Texas A&M really looked unprepared last week after beating Sam Houston in the opener. They came out of the gate very slowly in the first half in both games. So I expect A&M to come out here and put the ball in the air a little bit, try to move the ball down the field. And I think it's going to be a big game for their recruits. They've got the recruits coming in, and they've always done a really good job at home when the recruits are there. So they'll be trying to put on a show for the opposition. Interesting enough for Texas A&M, despite outscoring the opposition in 2 weeks, 45-17, the opposition has as many first downs as the Aggies. That's hard to believe when you've played the schedule that Texas A&M has played. Now that tells me that the Aggies just have not been able to get those big plays going. The explosive plays haven't been there for the Aggies. It'll be tougher for them here against a pretty good Miami defense, but the line's down. I find a 44, and that line, to me, is too low. In a college football game with Texas A&M, I know the offensive line has been very good so far this year, but that was supposed to be the strength coming into the season. Miami's got a quarterback that's very good. This line is just too low from a total standpoint now. It's got down too low. I played over 44.5 is fine. I'm leaning towards the over in this one.
All right, leaning towards the over with the U. All right, let's talk about it here, Tony Finn. What do you think? Miami, kind of hard for me to think that they won't win this game, but then again, they really haven't won this game in decades. This type of game here. You see the graphic on the screen saying a very interesting fact here with Jimbo, 11-2 non-conference games while at A&M. He did a pretty good job of it also at Florida State. So what do you think? Was that a blip on the radar for Jimbo and his new quarterback? What do you think we're going to get here?
I think here's what I really think. That is, it's too bad for Miami that A&M fell miserably, flat on their face last week because, as we well know, while we like to make fun of Jimbo and talk about how bad they looked and a team that puts up 186 yards of offense against the defense that's allowing nearly 600 yards a game, right? However, we've all seen Jimbo and Texas A&M bounce back from bad losses as well. Not just bounce back, but you just stated their non-con record, especially in this situation. Quarterback changes. Miami. Here's the main thing: is I was sitting last night doing things, checking, and I got all this information on the Miami change, or the Texas A&M change of quarterback. So that I didn't understand either. I thought this would not be a good time to make that change with Miami coming in. And then I hear Miami loses their top receiver. He won't be playing in this game. It used to be, guys. It used to be that when you went to College Station, it was, you were going to be the meat on the skewer at the top of the bonfire. You weren't going to win. You were not going to win there. I'm still of the school of thought that Texas A&M is better than what they've shown. I like Jimbo Fisher, where a lot of people don't like Jimbo Fisher, and I don't believe in him, that he's just a rich man's, from the last coach. He just charged him more money. But this is a team, Texas A&M, where I believe at home, at College Station, against a Miami team coming in that has shown very little, really. I mean, they don't cover against Southern Miss. They disappoint their fans there. As many mixed signals as I get, as many different opinions I get, I have to be in this room. If I'm in this room, I got to be on Texas A&M. I got to be the 12th, with the 12th man at College Station, and somehow A&M finds a way to win this game.
All right, he likes A&M to pull it out in the end. Bryan Power, the thing I worry about here watching Miami in these first two games is they didn't start great. They didn't start great last week against Missouri. Or Southern Missouri. They certainly didn't start great against Bethune-Cookman, although the final score, you would think that they just bulldozed them. Wasn't really the case. I don't think they can afford to start slowly against a pissed-off A&M squad. What do you think we're going to get here?
Okay, so Tony talked about all the information we're hit with during the week, and you guys probably have seen this. Certainly they don't want to hear it again in College Station. Jimbo Fisher's straight-up record as the A&M head coach is 35-15. That is one game worse than Kevin Sumlin was through 50 games. And as Tony talked about, they're paying Jimbo Fisher a lot more money than they paid Kevin Sumlin, who promptly ran, Arizona football right into the ground. So it's a big mess right now. I think, they obviously had this quarterback change deal set in their minds days ago. They're just announcing it now, but it kind of reeks of desperation. And let's talk about this Aggies offense. Bryan mentioned, the first downs, what the differential is for A&M this year. Against Appalachian State, they were outgained 315-186. They had 13 fewer first downs, 22-9. Keep in mind, Appalachian State, they allowed 63 points and 567 yards when they lost to North Carolina the previous week. So that's real disconcerting. I agree there were a lot of bad nights with Haynes King at the helm. I don't know how much better Max Johnson's going to do. And I got to be blunt. I think Miami's the better team here. My power rankings say they're the better team. Miami didn't cover last Saturday against Southern Miss. They still win 30-7. I'm not overly concerned about that. Southern Miss's offense actually looked pretty good against Liberty. It was the previous week.
Yep.
And going back to last year, the Hurricanes offense, they scored 31 or more in 8 of 9 games. I won't be so brazen to pick the outright win, but I'm definitely taking the points with Miami here because they're the better team.
Oh, music to my ears. All right, the U, it seems to be. We got some people here thinking it's going to be a close one, but hey, it's one that Mario Cristobal, they will love him forever if he can get past here. They love him already, but they'll love him less if A&M ends up winning this game. So, hey, no pressure, Mario Cristobal, really, no pressure at all. Let's move out west here, guys. Game number 2, let's take a look at San Diego State, a Wales. Taking on Utah, 3 touchdowns, I believe, is what we're looking at on the opening here with a, is it a 48.5 as a total? 10 o'clock Eastern time tip here. Utah, I think they got all their frustrations out last week, guys. They scored 175 points, so I think they're back on track here. Tony Finn, I will come to you here, my friend. Tell me what you think about Utah and San Diego State.
Well, what I think is I'm just not sure why I haven't personally pulled the trigger on this game. It's been sitting in front of me like the whole week. And every time I look at it, guys, I look at that 21 points. And I say, no, don't, Tony, whatever you do, don't do it. Don't do it. Utes have revenge on their mind. I just think this, and that is San Diego State's a one-dimensional team. I mean, this Utes team is a really good team. I know they went and disappointed in Florida and went to Gainesville. Everyone in the world thought they were going to win and beat the Gators, and they didn't. But this is a pretty darn good team, guys. It really is. And I don't know if you can tell me what kind of team Brady Hoke has right now, this very minute, and this is what's going to happen. I'm listening. I'm all ears. But losing to Arizona, sure, it's a Pac-12 team, a mid-major conference. San Diego State didn't show up. Last week they rebound. They showed themselves a little better. But if you can trust Brady Hoke, if you can trust these Aztecs, and you believe that, first off, maybe they can cover. Maybe they can get within 21. They're not winning this game. This game, Utah goes in and does anything they want to do, especially defensively. And if they stop the run, San Diego State's run, it's lights out before halftime. So right now I have Utah minus 21.
Okay, laying the 3 there, guys. Got blowout. Let's face it. The question is, can San Diego State score? I'm laughing as I'm saying this, Bryan Power. Can San Diego State actually score enough points here to keep this thing close? Are you looking at the total? What do you think we got here?
Okay, Tony brought up the revenge angle. I liked it a lot better when Utah was laying 20.5 right inside, because you can win by 3 touchdowns and you're dancing at the end of the game. We've got to ask ourselves, how bad is San Diego State? I think last week in the program I brought up the Mountain West, what an awful start to the year it's been. And, other than Air Force, I don't know what that conference has to be happy about right now. We'll see more of the Falcons tonight. But we knew San Diego State was going to regress in 2022. It was no doubt about it. This is a team that was actually outgained in Mountain West play. Despite their 7-2 conference record, they were a very fortunate 6-0 straight up in games decided by 8 points or less. In my book, you're just not going to repeat that kind of a record in close games, I should say. No doubt Utah wins, obviously, 20-1 last 21 home games. San Diego State, you touched on it, Joe, probably not enough offense to keep pace. And even worse for Aztec fans, I'm just going to keep piling on here, their defense giving up 278 yards passing per game. That's 111th among FBS teams. So it should be a big game for Utah quarterback Cam Rising. He's already completing 70% of his passes. My power ratings say this number's too low. So I want to join Tony on this one and lay the points, but maybe this is a bit of over-analysis. Sometimes I'm guilty of this. I'm really fearful of San Diego State just pulling out the backdoor cover. I think they're due to lose close games this year because of what I just said from last year. Over 13.5 for the Aztecs team total doesn't seem like much, does it? That's 2 touchdowns, unless if they change the rules on me. So that's what I'm going to do here. I think they'll score once, and then they might get a garbage time touchdown. They'll probably do even more scoring than that, but give me over 13.5 points at San Diego State's team total.
What? Team total he's going here. Actually, I don't hate that at all, Bryan Leonard. I'd probably look for Utah to call off the Dogs in the second half here, maybe first half with Utah. How are you approaching a 3-touchdown spread game here at home, no less, for them?
I'm looking at it a little bit differently. The reason why San Diego State is good in one-score games is they've got a great defensive mind behind everything, and they're very good defensively, and they haven't had a good quarterback in years. So it's the same type of ball club for San Diego State, if you ask me. Granted, the talent may be down a little bit, But still, this is the same type of teams they've had. Rocky Long has been there. No matter where Rocky Long goes, they're a dangerous underdog. And, you take a look at the Aztecs. They're 7-3 straight up versus the Pac-12 since 2015. They haven't lost a regular season game by more than this spread since 2017. That's 51 games ago. Tony mentioned the revenge. Utah loses last year 33-31 in overtime. But San Diego State couldn't pass the ball in that game either, and they still were able to stay there against Utah and win that game outright. Utah's only beaten 2 FBS teams in the regular season last year by more than this spread. I am concerned if San Diego State falls behind early and they don't have the passing ability in the second half to get back in the game. So I'm looking at it a little bit differently than Bryan is. I think San Diego State in the first half is probably the way to go here. We're getting 11.5 before it gets out of hand in the second half and they have to pass the ball. I'd prefer to have San Diego State in the first half, but I'm not giving up on this team. Anytime you got a team that can run the football and plays good defense, catching this many points, I think it's too many. I like San Diego State in the game, but I also like San Diego State in the first half.
Oh, all right. Love it. First half play for Bryan Leonard. Does expect it to get a little bit out of control as that game moves forward. Kind of hard not to think that, guys. And that leaves us with one more game out west here on the weekend. 10:30, the absolute degenerate special here on Saturday night, guys. 10:30 Eastern time kick on Fox. You got the Fresno State Bulldogs taking on USC. Everybody loves USC. Unless they're playing Rice and your name's Bryan Power. 11.5 here with the total of 74 is what I am looking at. That is a ton. And I mean a ton of points, Bryan Leonard. I will come back to you here. What do you think about this Fresno State team? They do have some experience, at least at the quarterback position here. How do you approach this game?
I was on the show last week, and I was the contrarian, and I took Stanford, and I got it handed to me. But I will say that Stanford moved the ball very well against USC. USC so far this year, the defense has not looked good at all. We've got a really high total here, and normally you'd look for the totals to be very high, but games in the 70s just haven't performed well for over-unders lately. So that's something you have to keep in mind here. But, USC's averaging 53.5 points against FBS opposition. Pretty impressive. But after playing Rice and Stanford, this is a situation where neither one of those teams had much of an offense. I like this Fresno State offense. The Bulldogs last week lost a tough one to Oregon State. Tough way to bounce back this week. But if you take a look at what Fresno has done, last year they lost 3 games. After losing those 3 games, they won by 53, 17, and 27. So this is a team who's bounced back strong off of a loss. From a scheduling standpoint, this is the first of 3 straight road games for Fresno State. You don't see that a lot in college football, especially when you take a look at where they have to go next week. They have to fly all the way to UConn. Strange scheduling situation there. It wouldn't surprise me at all if they were to actually play very well here against USC, that we could fade them next week going up to UConn, because it's tough to get up all these times that they played. In last week's game, as I said, went down to the wire. Interesting note, in the first 2 games for Fresno, neither team in either game has turned the ball over. That's something you don't see very often. So we get a true look at how these teams have done, Fresno and their opponents so far. Mentioned USC. I talked about the Texas A&M in the other video about the first downs. USC on the season has been crushing the opposition because of who they played, but yet they only have a 51-47 first down advantage. USC is doing it on the big plays, the explosive plays. That's what Fresno has to stop, and I'm not sure they can do so. I think USC puts up the points here, but I don't see USC slowing down Fresno. I bet Fresno a little bit earlier today, and I think that's the right side here. This is the first legit quarterback the Chargers have faced. Don't like this defense. A lot of points in this one, but I think it's a little bit too much. Give me the underdog.
Looking at the dog in this one. Bryan Power, it's an interesting situation here because unlike the last game we talked about where one team absolutely inferior offensively than the other, Man, Brian talked about it. Haener, and what about their running back here? This kid, Ronnie Rivers. The kid can run through brick wall. It's unbelievable. That USC defense, are you a believer they can stop anybody? We know the offense can score, so how do you go into this game?
No, I would agree with the assessment that Brian gave about the USC defense. And, by the way, as far as the USC-Stanford game last week, who among us felt that when Stanford got the ball back late, we're all like, oh, my God, they're going to steal the backdoor cover right here. Like, I know it was about a 98-yard drive, but, I've seen enough of these games. I was pretty much convinced. I was glad I didn't have anything, actually on the game. On the program last week, I did recommend over on USC's team total. Yes, Joe, that was much better than my analysis on the Trojans' first game. And this week, the team total all the way up at 43.5 for USC. That's a full TD higher than last week. That is a lot of points, needless to say. Although I got to say, I'm watching that game last Saturday night. Every time Caleb Williams dropped back to pass, I was thinking to myself, this could be a touchdown. I mean, what a set of receivers they have. They, stole Addison from Pitt. And by the way, it's nice to see on that its sideline, USC has like half of the NFC's starting Pro Bowl roster from when I was in high school. Just walking around. It's like unbelievable. You got Jerry Rice out there. You got, Ronnie Lott. I mean, so it's incredible. But asking USC to go over 43.5 is a lot. But what about Fresno State going over 30.5? Let's circle back to that USC defensive woes. USC gave up 28 to Stanford last week. Fresno's better offensive team than Stanford. Some of that may have been garbage time scoring. But who's to say Fresno's not going to have the chance to put up some garbage time points? The Bulldogs, they've scored 32 and 35 in the first two games. And I like them over 30.5. Another team total. Just one quick last tidbit. Brian brought up the turnover situation, how there's been no turnovers in Fresno State football games this year. USC has also not turned the ball over, but they have 9 takeaways. So that's quite the difference there.
Gotta look. It's got a point there, Tony, Finn. I mean, it's not – maybe to scare you, it might have been some garbage time points, but my goodness. They allowed the Cardinals and Emmitt Smith's son to run all over them in that game. The run defense is terrible. Jordan Mims could have, 200 yards in this game. He could run all over this USC defense. So what do you think? You worried that maybe slows the game down a little here? How are you looking at it?
As Brian mentioned, he started kind of getting me excited when you talk about Cleve Williams, to a Jordan Addison, to all the players they brought in through the transfer portal. Ranked among the top 50, if you believe the Athletic and sources like that. If you believe those rankings, but the offense has been stellar, 4th in the nation scoring. I guess my question would be this. Is Williams as good as he has looked after the Trojans' first two? Does he have a date with Destiny with Heisman at plus 320 right now to win the Heisman, second choice on the board? Did Lincoln Riley spend the summer with some defensive friends and learn something? Anything to add or at least hand to his DC and a kind of a pseudo assist? I think it all comes down to this: USC's pass defense versus a good quarterback in Fresno. And Jake Henry, but he threw about 360, I think, last week against on a loss to Oregon State, which surprised me, to be completely honest. Either Oregon State's better than I thought, or maybe this Fresno team doesn't have that savvy, doesn't have those cojones to finish games. We're going to find out. This will be the deal. Fresno, they did the Bulldog nasty to UCLA last season in LA. And they have a bye this week, guys. They have a bye coming up after this game. For those who think that's important, I do. I think it's really important in games and how they game plan and such and such. Here's the deal, though. This USC team is just fun to watch. This is a fabulous football game. I know people are laughing at me. Fresno, USC. This is really a good football team. Fresno State's a good football team. I meant football game. And this is a dangerous situation for USC, to be completely honest with you. What I like in this game, maybe to possibly hit the 80s, mid-70s at the worst. Give me the over.
Kind of hard not seeing, and Bryan Power brought it up, team totals there. Kind of hard not to think that either of those offenses might be able to get there, and, well, rather quickly as well. All right, guys, so now we've got 3 games here we broke down for you, a whole slate of action coming up, including 2 games here tonight. It is time to figure out if these guys like maybe one of these games a little bit more than the rest. So best bet time here. And Bryan Power, I'm coming to you. Kick us off here, my friend. And also tell the people again what you got going on at WagerTalk.com. I know you're locked and loaded here.
Yeah, just a couple hours left to get those 2 totals for tonight. Florida State, Louisville, Air Force, Wyoming. We're playing both totals. We got the big 5% play tomorrow afternoon. 3 other college football plays. Like I said, we'll have some soccer early, some UFC late, probably a baseball play as well. We got 1 play up so far for NFL. We'll complete that card by tomorrow morning. And for the best bet, let's circle back to the beginning of the show. Miami plus the points. Really think they're the better team in this matchup. I know it's a little scary fading A&M off a loss like that at home, no less. But I don't know, man. Better team, getting 6 points. Sounds like a fun situation to me. Give me the U.
Going.
Best bet.
The U it is. Love it. Can't argue with it. It's fantastic call there, Brian. Fantastic. Talk to me, Tony Finn. What do you got going on here for a best bet? And remind the good people here of how many tickets are ready to be cashed by heading over to your page at WagerTalk.
First off, nice run. Baseball again, back on a nice run in baseball. 13-2 run going into tonight. I had a nice night last night when I piled on the White Sox. Or yesterday early game, Thursday early game, and college football 14-5 start to the season. Not horrible, not perfect, but enough to make the important people, the clients, some dead presidents. So let's again, if you need something, anything at all, contact Joe. He's your man.
Yes.
We're gonna go to a free pick, our complimentary pick, our best bet free pick, and I'm gonna go kind of off the beaten path and go to Maryland, a game who's coming up against a team that I'd love to back. SMU, I really would like to back SMU in this game against Maryland. The Sonny Dykes connections, for instance, Mordecai. This game really intrigues me beyond measure. But here's the deal. I'm also big on games, or at least I hate to call them sandwich games. I hate to call them look-ahead games. I don't want to use those terms, but this is a pretty big look-ahead spot for the Mustangs. This game is Maryland. It is a Power 5 conference. However, SMU plays TCU next weekend. And if anyone's ever been associated with this game in any way, shape, fashion, or form, they know how important this game is, especially to SMU. Former Mustangs head coach Sonny Dykes, now the head coach of the Horned Frogs, just gets better and better and better. Give me Maryland -2.5.
Oh, laying the money down on Tua's younger brother. Love it. All right, come on, Brian. What do you think here? Finish us off. Remind the good people what you got ready to go here at Wager Talk, and which one of these games might you be leaning towards a little bit more than the rest?
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Got 3 plays up in college football tomorrow. A couple of pretty big games. Usually I like to take advantage of where the lines have a lot of value, and you don't see as much value normally in some of the bigger names, but this week I was able to find some of those. So I've got 3 games tomorrow, likely having another one and 1 or 2, and then I've got a full slate up on Sunday. And we pick on Tony a lot. Tony's a great guy, and he's a good sport about it. But if you're looking for somebody who's hot right now, Tony's seeing the card very well. So Tony's a guy, you might go blind reading his analysis on the games, but he picks winners. So go out there and get Tony's card for the weekend. I believe you'll do very well. We talked about the San Diego State-Utah game earlier. I'm going to go back to that game. And I've lived out here in Vegas about 25 years or so. Utah used to be in the Mountain West Conference. They and San Diego State were very big rivals. Mostly from a basketball standpoint in years past. So when Utah was chosen to go to the Pac-12, that put a little fire in San Diego State. So even though Utah's got that revenge going on here after losing last year, San Diego State always has a chip on their shoulder against Utah, and I mentioned how they've done against the Pac-12, 7-3 straight up. I used I did another video with Kevin Dolan, and I used San Diego State in that game, and I'm going to use San Diego State in the first half here as my best bet. I just don't think San Diego State does not think that Utah is that much better than they are. In fact, I'm sure they think that they're just as good, especially after winning last year. 21 points is a lot of points here for a San Diego State team who's always been a very good underdog. Give me the Aztecs here in the first half, plus 11.5.
Boom! Listen, you can't go wrong with any of these gentlemen if you're looking to make it a profitable weekend. Bryan Power, Bryan Leonard, and Tony Finn, guys. Head over there right now, WagerTalk.com. Get them locked up. And those 3-day, 7-day all-access packages, it's the best way to do it, guys. You never got to worry about missing a beat. And more importantly, not missing a line, right? Every half a point matters, guys, which is why you should be following while you're at WagerTalk, the live odds page there. Great information there. Don't guess. It is up to the minute, guys. Good. And, oh, yeah, it's free just by heading over to WagerTalk.com, visiting Tony Finn, Bryan Leonard, and Bryan Power. Pick up those 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages with these guys and never miss a play. It's all about that closing line value trophy. Right, Tony Finn? Let's look at that.
No.
Best bets here.
No.
Bryan Power. He going the U. Don't make any mistake about it. The U +6 against A&M. Bryan Leonard likes San Diego State. First half here, getting that 11.5. While Tony Finn says a little worried about the look-ahead spot against TCU for SMU. So he going Maryland, laying the 2.5. And guys, don't forget to download the brand new WagerTalk app. Whether it be your smart TV or obviously your iPhones or your Androids, your Samsungs, whatever you got, guys, head over to the App Store, download WagerTalk TV, get all of the shows, all of our content, all of our videos on demand. Great stuff there. And then, of course, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner on YouTube. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and make plans to come back and join us again on Monday as we're back with another lineup, guys, getting ready for yet another week here in college football and the NFL. And until then, on behalf of Bryan Leonard, Bryan Power, and Mr. Red Hot Tony Finn, guys, we appreciate the time. Best of luck with your plays this weekend. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Good luck.
With week number 1 of the NFL now in the books, we can officially say the 2022 football season is underway. We previously only offered 30-day NFL packages and 30-day college football packages, but because you asked, we have now added a 30-day NFL and college football combo. If you regularly buy the same handicapper week by week, not only will you save money, but more importantly, you will receive the selections immediately once they are released, allowing you to lock in the best available line and beat the line moves. While a 30-day NFL or college football package sells for $149 each, we want to make a splash for the first week of this combo package. Through Sunday, September 18th, get the NFL and college football combo for only $199. Yes, that's 30 days of NFL and 30 days of college football for under $100 per sport. This special is available at both WagerTalk and Sports Memo, allowing you to bet football right alongside your favorite handicapper for the next 30 days for only $6.63 per day.